Hello everyone, I Abhi Kalia from Railway Safarnama once again welcome you all with open arms to the third episode of our meter-gauge train journey through the heart of Gir Forest. Now we are going to embark on the final leg of our mesmerizing journey as we travel from Sasan Gir to Delvada, the last station on the meter-gauge line. Our train has just begun its departure from Sasan Gir railway station, rolling steadily onto the Talala line. The anticipation is high, the thrill is real, and as always, the essence of old school railway charm is alive on this ride. As we weave through the dense wilderness of Gir Forest, this episode is extra special. Not only will we soak in the raw beauty of Gujarat's lush landscapes, but I will also guide you on the most affordable and scenic route to reach Diu Fort. And the best way to get there, well, you guessed it right, by train. The journey through Gir remains as breathtaking as ever. In just 9 kilometers, we will reach Chitrawad station. Chitrawad would be the next station after Sasan Gir, but the verdant surroundings of Gir continue to accompany us. Peering out the window, one can witness the vast open grasslands merging seamlessly with thick forest patches, a home to the majestic Asiatic lions. This is where the rustic rhythm of the train meets the untamed wilderness of Gir, creating a perfect harmony of nature and nostalgia. As our train gently snakes through the timeless wilderness of Gir, the dense jungle continues to stretch endlessly on both sides. This enchanting landscape remains our companion until we reach our next major halt, Talala Junction. Now you people may wonder why take this journey by train. Well, the answer is going to be very simple. It is the most affordable and exciting way to experience the Gir Forest. For just 35 rupees, you can travel from end to end on this meter gauge train, making it the most cheapest safari through the Gir Forest, a journey where adventure meets nostalgia. And if luck is on your side, especially during the winter season, you might just witness the true kings of this land, the Asiatic lions, roaming near the railway tracks. Many travelers and locals have reported spotting these majestic creatures on chilly mornings, often basking in the golden sunlight or casually strolling close to the train's path. For a rail fan like me, that would be nothing short of a jackpot moment, capturing wildlife in its natural habitat while also embracing the charm of India's last meter-gauge lines. Imagine the thrill, a train journey through the jungle with a possible glimpse of a lion right beside the tracks. As we inch closer to Talala Junction, the adventure only intensifies. The forest whisper their age-old tales, the train whistles in harmony, and the journey unfolds like a treat. So fasten your seat belts, or rather hold on to your window seats as we continue our incredible ride through the heart of Gir Forest. As we roll further into our journey, one thing that truly stands out is the old charm of these meter gauge stations. They are like time capsules, carrying the echoes of a bygone era when train travel in India was simpler, slower, yet deeply connected to the rhythm of the land. The rustic station buildings, vintage name boards, and the classic low level platforms bring back memories of an age when meter gauge lines were the backbone of India's railway network. These stations may not be bustling with modern amenities, but they hold something far more valuable: nostalgia and history. And here we are, arriving at Talala Junction station. This is an important station on our train journey as it is where the track from Delvada meets our train. You can see that line joining us as we slowly approach Talala station. Now an interesting thing about Talala Junction, our train will reverse its direction here. Yes, after a brief halt, the locomotive will switch sides and from here we will take the track leading to Delvada station. Talala Junction, what a vibe! The station is a perfect blend of old school railway charm and the nature's beauty. The low level platforms, the meter gauge tracks, and the lush forest around the station give it a complete different feel, almost feel like stepping back in time. The forest vibe here adds to the experience. The silence is only broken by the distant chirping of birds and the occasional rumble of a passing train. It is raw, it is untouched, and it is exactly the kind of place I've been waiting to experience for a long time. There is a little hustle and bustle on the platform, just enough to remind us that even in the quietest corners of the railway network, life moves at its own pace. A couple of small stalls stand nearby selling tea and snacks just like they have for years. The aroma of such chai fills the air, blending perfectly with the rustic charm of the station. A few children walk along the tracks, curious and carefree. Their laughter echoes through the platform, adding a touch of innocence to this timeless railway scene. It's moments like these that make train journeys so special, where the simplest sights and the sounds stir deep emotions. This is the true beauty of railways. Every station, every stop has a story to tell, and no matter how many modern trains take over, the charm of these meter gauge stations will always have a special place in the heart of every rail fan. And there it is. This is the Viswadar track. This is the very track on which our train arrived from Junagadh station, carrying us through the beautiful Gir Forest and the charming meter-gauge stations along the way. But now our train has switched onto the Delvada-bound track, the final leg of this incredible train ride. From here on, we move deeper into the Gujarat's heartland towards our last stop, Delvada. now we are moving deep into the coastal belt of Gujarat. This makes the journey even more exciting because Gujarat has the longest coastline in India with many ports and beautiful seaside towns along the way. Our train is passing through this coastal region and the change in landscape is quite noticeable. The air feels fresher and the surroundings reflect the rich coastal heritage of Gujarat. Very soon our train would be approaching Prachi Road Junction station. This would be an important station because from here you can see one track bifurcating towards Kodinar, a coastal town of Gujarat which lies on the route between Diu and Somnath, making it a key point for travelers heading towards these coastal destinations. With every passing kilometer, this journey becomes even more special. And here we are at Prachi Road station, a place that still holds onto its old rustic charm. The moment we step in, we can feel the natural air around us, untouched by the rush of modern life. The simplicity of this station, surrounded by nature at its best, creates a vibe that is truly special. There is something about these small meter gauge stations, their quiet beauty, their timeless appeal that makes them stand apart. No fancy infrastructure, no big crowds, just the sound of the breeze, the chirping of birds, and the occasional whistle of a train. For a rail fan like me, this is a pure joy. It is just like stepping into a piece of railway history where every halt feels like a moment frozen in time. Now, as we continue our journey towards Delvada, let's soak in this beautiful experience of traveling through Gujarat's hidden railway gems. And now our train starts to depart from Prachi Road station, slowly picking up pace as we move towards the Una line. This stretch takes us even deeper into Gujarat's coastal belt, bringing us closer to our final destination, Delvada. As the train leaves the station, the rustic charm of Prachi Road station fades into the distance, but the journey ahead promises more scenic beauty and old school railway vibes. The meter gauge track continues to weave through nature, offering a peaceful and nostalgic experience. So here we see the track bifurcating towards Kodinar, a coastal town in Gujarat. Sadly, this track now remains abandoned with no trains running on it. As per the latest information I got from Sohail Baloch, a dedicated rail fan from Gujarat's Dhola town, he told me over a phone call that after the COVID period, authorities had briefly resumed train services to Kodinar. However, those services have now been stopped once again. And what should I say? It is very unfortunate to see such historic railway routes left unused. Kodinar, being an important coastal town, deserves an active railway connection. Hopefully one day we will see trains running on this section once again. So for now we continue our journey on the Una line, moving towards our final destination, Delvada. So now we are about to enter another forest stretch, this time between Valadar and Gir station. Even though it is summer and the forest remains dry, the thrill of passing through this wilderness is still unmatched. The tall, dry trees stand like silent spectators as our meter gauge train makes its way through this rugged landscape. The golden brown hues of the summer forest create a complete different vibe compared to the lush green views of the monsoon. Even in this dry season, the forest holds a certain mystique as if it is hiding stories from the past. With every curve and bend, the anticipation builds. This is what makes train journeys through the Gir region so special. Pure adventure, raw nature, and the railway nostalgia all in one ride. And we are approaching Jamwaala station now. This station looks straight out of a different world. With trees shielding the platform, it gives off a pure haunted station vibe, something you don't come across often. The silence here, mixed with the rustic charm of the meter gauge era, makes it feel like a station frozen in time. The overgrown trees, the deserted look, and the surrounding wilderness create an atmosphere that is both mysterious and breathtakingly beautiful. I'm absolutely loving this experience. There is something so special about discovering these hidden railway gems in the middle of nowhere. This is the true essence of old school train travel in India. And here we are at Hadmadya station, yet another beautiful countryside halt that takes us back in time. Surrounded by lush trees, this station carries a pure rural charm that is hard to find in today's modern railway network. The peaceful atmosphere, the fresh air, and the old world railway vibe make this place truly special. There is something about these small meter gauge stations. They may not be big or busy, but they have a soul of their own. This is what makes train journeys on these forgotten routes so memorable. Loving the vibe here. Simple, raw, and absolutely beautiful. As we move ahead, I suddenly spot a familiar sight, a small lake beside the tracks. This instantly takes me back to my 2017 Delvada trip. Seeing this water body again after so many years feels like a nostalgic rewind to my old journey. Back then, I remember watching the calm waters as our meter gauge train slowly chugged past, creating ripples of memories that now I relive today. It's moments like these that make railway journey so special, not just about reaching the destination, but about revisiting the past, connecting with old experiences, and feeling that same railway magic all over again. The stretch is not just a route for me, it is a journey through time, memories, and emotions, and I'm grateful to be reliving it once again. And now we arrive at beautiful station along the journey, Gir station. This is pure vintage charm with its old school railway feel, taking us straight back to the golden days of meter gauge travel in India. From here, the small forest stretch comes to an end, marking the transition from the wilderness of Gir to the coastal belt of Gujarat. The landscape is changing, the air feels different, and now we are heading deeper into the coast. here we arrive at Una station. This is one of the major halts on this route. From here, our final destination, Delvada, is just 5 or 6 kilometers away. Una is an important stop because transportation to Gir Fort is easily accessible. The Una bus stand also connects travelers to various coastal towns of Gujarat, making it a key transit point for those heading towards the Arabian Sea. But my journey does not end here. I will travel till the last station, Delvada, where the meter-gauge line finally concludes. From Delvada, the iconic Gir Fort, located in the Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu Union Territory, is just 11 kilometers away. A few more minutes and we will be at the final stop of this nostalgic meter-gauge train journey. Let's enjoy this last stretch. And finally, we reached Delvada station at sharp 3:30 p.m. in the evening time. After an incredible 7-8 hours journey, our 160 kilometers meter gauge train journey from Junagadh to Delvada comes to an end, all for just 35 rupees. Can you believe that? A full length train journey at such an affordable price. Now we are at the coastal most belt of Gujarat, and my first plan was to visit the historic Gir Fort in the Arabian Sea. But due to heavy luggage, time constraints, and high expenses, I had to make a change in plans. Instead, I took an auto rickshaw straight to Gir bus stand, which is about 11 kilometers away from Delvada station. तो आप मुझे बस स्टैंड पे छोड़ोगे ना? ठीक है ठीक है।
तो अलग लगेगा।
सोमनाथ की बस मिल जाएगी बात?
हाँ वहाँ से मिल जाएगी।
किला जाएंगे तो कितना, मतलब किला जाके बस स्टैंड छोड़ेंगे तो कितना लेंगे आप?
तो रिटर्न वो 300 रुपया होगा, जाना आने का रिटर्न।
नहीं पहले आप किला छोड़ेंगे, फिर किले से बस स्टैंड छोड़ेंगे तो टोटल कितना लेंगे?
600 रुपया।
600 रुपया लेंगे।
तुम्हारा वेट भी करना पड़ेगा ना वो तो।
हाँ वेट, अच्छा वेटिंग चार्ज
तो कुछ लेते ही नहीं है, लेकिन बस स्टैंड से किला जाने का 150
अच्छा
और आने का 150।
अच्छा।
हाँ इधर का जाने का 300।
अच्छा इधर से बस स्टैंड का सिर्फ 300 रुपये
हाँ।
लगेगा ना? ठीक है, तो बस स्टैंड ही छोड़ दो।
चलो।
Now as I step out of Diu station, I spot an auto rickshaw stand, and as I start walking towards that auto rickshaw guy, I start inquiring him about the rates, and then he told me I would be charged 600 rupees for making a visit to Diu fort. Then obviously by hearing the skyrocketing price, I had to cancel my plan for Diu fort, and then I decided to head straight to the bus stand. Then that auto rickshaw guy told me that I would be taken solo. I would be traveling solo in the auto rickshaw, and he would take me straight to the bus stand. And after reaching Diu bus stand, I would wait for another 1 hour before boarding the bus for Somnath. So this auto ride is definitely going to be thrilling. Passing by the coastal roads with the Arabian scene view made this small stretch of auto journey somewhat special for me. So upon reaching Diu bus stand, I had to wait for about 1 hour before boarding a bus to Somnath at 5 o'clock. At sharp 5 o'clock, our bus departs for Somnath. The bus journey was obviously hectic, but it was fine. We passed through the Kodinar town, and after a long ride, I finally reached Somnath at sharp 8:30 p.m. in the night time. Very tired. Upon reaching, I was very tired, almost in two pieces, but I was happy because this trip went very well. And then after reaching, I decided to stay at the Somnath Trust dormitory for the night, which only cost you 90 rupees for a room. So not only that, but the food served by the trust people was very tasty and reasonably priced. It was the perfect way to wrap up the day. So if I tell you something about Somnath Trust dormitory, it is just 300 meters from the Somnath bus stand. A perfect place for budget travelers. But remember, rooms can only be booked in person upon arrival. There is a little bit of formal paperwork, but nothing too complicated. So if you are lucky enough, you might even get an AC dormitory for just 90 rupees. Yes, you heard that right. An AC room at such a cheap rate. The food is also priced at 90 rupees, and trust me guys, it is absolutely delicious. Tastiest food I have ever tasted. So if any of you are planning to stay in Somnath, just reach there in the bus stand and ask anyone about Somnath Trust Dormitory Atithi Grah. You will easily find it. And with that, our day's journey comes to an end, and so does this episode. After reaching Somnath, I got the much needed sleep to recharge myself for the next day's exciting journey, covering the Amreli line on the meter gauge section. Now a big thank you to all of you for taking your time to watch this video, and if you people have enjoyed watching this journey, please do like and subscribe to the channel. Only if you people have enjoyed watching it. Nothing to come by force. So it will really help and motivate me to bring you more amazing content. Till then, take care of yourself, everyone, and see you in the next episode very soon. Take care.